welcome to the 310 Quick Pod. I am here today with Beth Dreher from Beth Dreher Movement. My name is Chris Germain. I'm the owner of CrossFit 310. And
thanks for having me again.
Yeah, we can't wait to get together and talk again.
Always.
Second time on the show. Welcome back.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff for us to catch up on because we were getting together and geeking out on human movement like we do.
Always.
But then things have happened with...
Great things have happened.
Yeah, with some... Well, why are we talking around it?
I don't know.
Why don't we talk? Let's catch people up to talk about what has been happening with us.
Cool. I've set up shop in the back room over there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We had such a good time so frequently talking about human movement and best practices and
What we do.
Beth, with her expertise, seemed like such a good fit for how we want to exist with human movement and helping people to feel better, fix movement patterns.
Just move better.
Yeah, that's right. And we're always talking about thriving. Like that's where we're always trying to go. So we joined forces, and it has been awesome. It's so exciting to have you inside of our environment, more than just working out and more than just saying, hey, have you tried this? And but having you be so close and watching people go to your room and come back and watching people from outside coming down to you. I get so excited when I see somebody going to your room because I know, yeah, I'm sure. But it's really like when I see somebody walking over to you, I'm like, oh, that person is proactively going to find a way to feel better instead of crossing their fingers or instead of ignoring the pain for a long time, or maybe even instead of stopping the thing that they love to do.
Right.
Which, so great. You had a woman who is a
roller derby.
Derby.
That was super cool.
Yeah, last night, which is great.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't want to stop doing that.
No.
And so she came to you to learn about what was going on and try to find a path so that she can continue to do the thing that she loves.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
We are getting together today very specifically to expound on something that we're writing about, making a lot of content about. We're calling it Surround Yourself. It was the first article that we put out, a group of us coaches. This year, we're currently writing a series about surrounding yourself with people who are going to help you move in lots of different ways. Not movement, progress in lots of different ways. And the theory on that is that we have to be taught. Like we cannot, it doesn't matter how smart you are. If you're trying to do it alone, you're going to run into something. You have to be shown. You have to be given many, many, many things from person to person. And I say it all the time, you need to be known and you need to know people, or you need to know people and be known. So let's toss some things back and forth.
Sure. From
your perspective inside of this, how we do this together, things that even just excite you you're a learner. You're constantly going to people to learn things, and I love it about you. Tell me a little bit about that with you.
I think there has been a lot of things that have drawn me to that. Part of it was just that for a while I wasn't learning, and it didn't feel right, and I didn't know what I was missing, and I wasn't happy. And as soon as I started learning more, it 100% made me happier. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I am a perpetual learner.
Right on.
Yeah.
So there was a time in your life then that that you felt like it was just stagnant.
Yeah, there's no growth for me.
Right.
And I couldn't at the time pinpoint it. And then kind of figured out, I was like, there's no growth for me here. I don't even have time to do like continuing ed stuff and really explore the things that I wanted to explore. And when I was able to finally break out of that and start looking at the things that I wanted to, that was like so much happier. Because I thought I was burnt out, and I was at the time, but then I was doing other things, but I kept going back to the same thing, and I kept looking into that, and I was like, maybe that is really the thing I want to be doing. So it brought me back to it as well.
Yeah.
So
When you was that a sorry was that a human? Did it begin with searching for yourself and then attaching to people who were teaching you, or did it start right away with I need to go to somebody and somebody will teach me and help me?
no, it was actually I got to figure this out. It was me, and then I figured out I'm like, oh, it's not me. Like I need to find somebody else. Like I can only take myself so far, and their interwebs will only get me so far.
Right.
So, so then yeah, it was more exploring of who do I need to find to get me to where I need to be.
Yeah.
And then you start that search, and you run into people, and every interaction of people is going to give you a piece.
Right. I think that is honestly that the thing that you're saying is why I want to record these things. That's why I want to write articles. That's why I want to have other content out there right now is really exciting.
Yeah.
And it's exciting because we are in an information abundant place,
Abundant.
right? But it's not going to stop us. Like, because it's available, we're going to go look, and I want that. Like, this is an initial engagement out there. It is valuable all by itself. So if somebody's like, oh, I watched that thing that Chris and Beth did, and I ended up going to do this and this and this, even if that person doesn't end up in my gym or your place, it feels so good to be able to share experiences and maybe catalyze something. And sometimes we get emails or a text from things that we've written or made, and somebody will say, hey, that really helped me. And they're not even in the area. And then what we know is this likely cannot be the thing that will actually transform a human. So there's also the possibility that somebody could be in the area, somebody listens to this that's attached to the gym or a friend of or something like that, or they're in the surrounding sphere of us, and that could bring them in here for more. And both are so exciting to me.
For sure. And to your point, we're putting this out, and there's a ton of people putting stuff out, right? Mm-hmm. But it's how you hear it, when you hear it, and when you need to hear it.
Totally.
So even though I've heard the same thing so many times, and then it's one person, the way they say it that one time, that you're like, oh, I got it.
That's another thing that probably drives me full of hope every day. Because how many CrossFit gyms are there out there? We live in the South Bay. We live in Southern California. How many fitness facilities, how many personal trainers are there out there?
Within a walking distance of here, right?
There's
like 5.
Everywhere. It's seemingly impossible. If you don't understand that the way that you articulate ideas personally, how you are built, the way that you teach and talk is going to be the way that an individual wants to hear it and happens to need to hear it with the timing of their life. Right. And I know that may sound mystical to anybody that's listening, and I don't mean it in a mystical way. I just mean it in it's the way that life goes. It's such an amorphous, improvised thing that happens, and you run into things. But I just love that there are 30 people outside of this gym right now that can't wait to be taught, to be grown, to participate in something together, and they just don't even know we're here yet. Right? We happen to speak their language, and you happen to know the thing that they need. You know the thing. There's 5 moves that you might give them that could transform their life.
For sure.
And it's so willing to put this out there as this initial idea that somebody might be like, maybe I'll go see her
Right.
for a thing, and then it builds. And oh man, that is so great.
Super cool.
Well, that's what's happening
Yeah.
in our place right now.
For
You
sure.
know, the idea of surround yourself. You are an embodiment of that. I want to surround myself with trainers and doctors and chiropractors and
Just
what
people
else?
that are going to support you.
Yep, and in a way that they know me and they're like, okay, I know that Chris is not going to be cavalier, and his trainers, the whole CrossFit 310 is not going to be cavalier with anybody. And not only that, but they're looking for longevity, they're looking for thrive, they're looking for something specific. And then that lines up with you, and that lines up with a doctor of physical therapy, and then that lines up with a chiropractor out there somewhere. But that is, want to surround myself with you, because we speak such same, and then
For
that
sure.
message that we have inside of the gym,
Same language.
it carries over to there. And then it's so great to have you be over in that room, and you've got a prescription for someone. And we found out even just last night in our conversation,
Yeah.
that we believe so many times that we want to get pain out as fast as we can.
For sure.
But many times, poor movement patterns can put you back into the pain loop.
Yep.
And so even if we take the pain away and people are like, oh, good, that pain's not there. If we don't solve the root problem,
It's just coming back.
that's right.
Yeah.
Tell me your favorite. Oh, yeah. She just gave me, and let me just sidebar with you
Cheesecake?
people here. If you ask Beth about her favorite anything, she will make a cramped face, whether it's her favorite song, favorite movie, favorite band, favorite dessert, favorite actor. I mean, this girl just loves everything, so she is not happy when she needs to limit it in any way, shape, or form. So let me draw back. I'll deliver this in a different way. I want to hear about exciting things for you over there. What are you excited to run into somebody and be like, oh man, I love it when this happens. It could be specific to.
I mean, honestly, like
anything.
the best feeling is knowing that you've affected a person. Like we've talked about a couple of them yesterday. Like knowing that somebody's had recurring pain and it's lasted for a significant amount of time, and they came to see me, and it has significantly shortened the amount of time that they've had that pain this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that makes me stoked.
Yeah.
And just puts me over the moon
Yeah.
every time. And when I get that text saying, hey, this feels so much better, like, that
Right.
is literally
Yeah.
what I live for.
Instead of.
I'm still in misery.
Yeah. Instead of a person who looked at me and said, I'm probably not going to be able to walk very well for 4 weeks, but sends you a text after you happen to just be there.
Yep.
You happen to be there that night. We happen to have a conversation, and pain is a driver. Pain is a motivator.
Complete.
Unfortunately.
Fortunately and unfortunately.
That's right. That's right. The unfortunate part about that is if we feel good enough, we won't solve the problem because we're too busy, and it's just so natural, right? We're like, oh, if I'm not thinking about it, I'm likely not going to solve it. But the good part is that pain drives us to correction.
For sure. And with that, is at what level is that pain going to drive you? Because we've also discussed that there is sometimes a low-level, consistent feeling that people learn to ignore and don't pay attention to. That's when things start to snowball, right?
Yeah, and I love that. So I was 20 and had terrible knee pain. I could never play the sport that I wanted to play correctly because of pain. I literally could not move well. I'm 20 years old, 19, 18 years old, and I have all this pain. Then I stopped playing the sport, and for a decade, I walked around with pain every step. I could not kneel. I'm training. I have to choose which knee I kneel on because I can't put pressure on the other one because it's so hot. Meanwhile, I find my way out of that pain, and I realize that, I just accepted in my mid-20s, I accepted. I was like, I just will always feel this.
For sure. How many times do I hear that, I'm just getting older. I'm in my 40s. I'm like, you're in your 40s. Like,
totally.
You should still be going hiking, biking, running, playing with your kids, throwing, whatever you're doing. Like, that's still viable and acceptable. And
Yep.
like, totally.
Yeah. I think we may have touched on this last time we talked, that the thing that makes a person feel old is the loss of something.
Right.
Right? I can't do the thing in the way that I used to do it, therefore I am old.
Right.
And what we are always talking about, my favorite phrase back and forth, and I use it all the time, is use it or lose it, right? Like, yeah, it's so good. And I mean, we use it all the time. I use it because we discussed it like that. I mean, that thing's like a gun in a holster for me. I'm all, boom, use it or lose it.
Like daily, right? Like it's the medicine.
Yeah. And it's so good to welcome someone back to maybe something they haven't been able to do, and they thought that they just thought that they were old. I mean, when I used to play volleyball, I would have kids in their late 20s, and they're just like, I'm getting too old. I can't. It hurts when I do that. And
come on, dude.
Yeah, come on, dude. Yeah, that's good. Station break.
Station break.
Need station break music.
Lovely. Thanks.
We needed that.
We did.
That's good. Let's talk about one of the things that you have coming up here is a seminar.
Yep.
Seminar?
Yeah.
Seminar.
Workshop.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a workshop.
About foot and ankle.
It's about foot and ankle, which is good. The most exciting thing for me about a foot and ankle thing is, unless you have pain in there, you're not thinking about it at all.
No, but what do you use every day?
Feet and ankle?
Maybe.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's if you're not grounded,
it's your base
in everything, right? Yeah, but as soon as there's something wrong with it, it starts traveling. Yep. It starts traveling up, and then things start hurting in weird places because, right?
For sure.
The bad thing about foot and ankle is a lot of people aren't feeling that right now, and so as we preach this, what do you want to say about foot and ankle right now to even somebody would never even come to the workshop because they're in Poughkeepsie or whatever? Thank you, Poughkeepsie, for listening. Right? Thank you so much for watching.
I miss Poughkeepsie. I've been there a couple times.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
What do I want to... that it's probably one of the most overlooked parts in everything, in how it affects your training, how it affects your walk, how it affects all sorts of things. Part of it is footwear. Part of it is just how we treat our feet. Like, people will go get a massage because their neck hurts, but like very rarely do they actually like work on their feet.
Right.
Because like that you can use with a lacrosse ball pretty easy, and it's 2 minutes out of your day.
Yep.
While you're watching TV. So just little things like that is like the self-care of those joints pretty important.
Could you give me like number with what you know about this thing and you're about to present? What's the number one thing that you might fear for people who don't feel anything currently but will likely run into it in the future?
Use it or lose it. Like,
okay. Expound.
Like just ankle mobility. We've discussed mine, and one side's definitely different on mine and how it affects my lifting and how I play in here.
Yeah.
And I don't think that people necessarily, that's their first joint that they're going to think about. They're like, my hip hurts. I'm like, well, your hip might hurt because it has to compensate for what your ankle's not doing in that. So Just the breadth of areas that it can actually affect, I think, is quite interesting.
I know for a fact that I have had 2 or 3 back strains. One that had me
Out for the
out
count.
for a while,
Oh.
like huge steps back. And the root is ankle mobility, because I could not get into a good position because I had played basketball and damaged my ankle so much. And when you can't get into a good ankle position, your hips take over and adjust weird for it.
Yep.
Right. And I canter over a bunch. So the root was there, and it ended up being awful. It was just awful.
And how many people do you know that has sprained their ankle playing high school basketball, football, whatever, and that was it? They didn't do anything for it. It years later, you're like, oh yeah, I sprained my ankle. I was like, okay, that makes a little more sense.
That's good. Feet and ankle is what we'll
February 28th.
February 28th. Yep. At CrossFit 310. Yep. So if you're in the area,
Come down.
please come. Does it cost anything?
$0.
What?
And I will give a free 15-minute complimentary session
So
for
good.
everybody that comes.
Oh my gosh, good. I love it. Beth,
Sir,
fun to talk.
always. This could go on forever.
This could go on forever. Like, listen, surround yourself. That is for sure the theme for me all year.
Yeah.
I'm being surrounded by so many influences right now, and I'm 46 years old, and it continues to change me and push me in such a healthy direction. You are totally part of that. I love to share this with you. It's so much fun. So, thanks for coming on the show. Thank you, people, for listening. My encouragement to you is to surround yourself with people who can teach you. If you're in the area, man, we would love to be a help to you in any way, shape, or form. If this Quick Pod helps you, or if one of our articles help you, man, we're so happy about that. We love to be part of this in any way, shape, or form. So thanks for watching, and that's it.
We out.
Whoa, nice.